she's ever been pictured in this house. And so today we have a playroom in the living room, and we've been enjoying our grandchildren and our family here. And Jonathan wants me to tell you about what we have in our scrapbook. And these are our roots. These are my mother's grandparents, my great-grandmother, Barbara Neubauer, who was born in 1823 and died in 1899, and great-grandfather Jakob Neubauer, as they would say in German, who was born in 1823 and he died in 1905. And this was a picture of them when they were very elderly, much older than the picture shown here. On this page is my grandfather and grandmother, and these were their wedding clothes. And my grandmother's was all handmade lace, and it was lost a long time ago.
Hey, can I interrupt, Mother? We've got to go back to that page right there. You got to show that other page.
This one?
No, the other one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't pick it up there. You have to turn it around.
Oh.
Okay. The one that we see is that. Again. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
No, we didn't.
No,
Okay.
it's not very sharp. So. And
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was sharper a moment ago.
Yeah. That's what we're going to get. All right.
Let me go back.
Uh-huh.
All right, these are the wedding parents of my grandparents, and my grandfather and my grandmother and her wedding dress, and it was lace, rose point lace, and was very beautiful like that, but that's long gone. And here's another picture of my grandfather. And here he is. He was so proud of his baby girl down here. And that's my mother. He was very much older than my grandmother. And so he was not young when my mother was born. I'm not exactly sure how old he was. Let's see. I'm trying to get these. How do I get this, Jonathan? I'm not doing it. How do I get this? And what are we doing? Oh.
Okay, Jonathan, we'll have to get on this one now.
Okay.
These are younger pictures of my grandmother, and my Aunt Etta looked very much like her. These are not all her pictures, but I don't know which of her sisters these were. But they're her sisters and their husbands on that page. Then these were the real beauties of the family. These were my grandfather's sisters. And this is Catherine, who was a real beauty, and she didn't marry.
Which one is Catherine?
In those, she was
Could you point to her?
Catherine Neubauer, and quite late.
It's not quite focused, Jonathan.
Okay. Which one is it, Mother?
Both of these are Catherine, and she didn't marry until she was around 50, because at that time, in the Victorian era, it was considered noble for one of the daughters not to marry and to stay and to take care of her parents. And these are, this is her sister Barbara up here. This is Catherine and Barbara's husband, Fred Habercorn, who was a banker in Erie. And this is another one of Kate and Barbara down here.
Have to swing that more towards the camera.
This.
Other way.
Okay. Other way.
There we go.
I'm not
Have
getting
to
the
swing it
hang
towards
of
me,
this.
Mother. You. There.
There. All right. This is Ruth Habercorn, who was Barbara's daughter, and he treated her very, very badly in her later life. This is another picture of Catherine at a later date. Those were pretty elegant gowns, I think.
Put it towards me, Mother.
Yeah.
Put it towards me. Don't worry about the television.
Yeah, a little more to the room, Jonathan. I mean, turn the camera a little that way. Then you can get it.
This is Margaret Parsons, or Margaret Neubauer Parsons, who was one of my grandfather's sisters. And this is Gertrude Parsons, her daughter. And it's on this other page. And it's Gertrude, whose lovely watch I had. And she died at a very early age. This is Charles Parsons.
Towards me.
Here. This is
Swing it towards the
there,
camera, Mother.
There, okay. That's Charles Parsons, and he was the son of Margaret Neubauer Parsons. This one is my mother's first cousin, Frank Rame, and they called him Frankie. He was Frankie here, and he remained Frankie all his life. And he and my mother looked a great deal alike through their eyebrows and eyes. And he was the son of Magdalena Neubauer Ring. And then she married.
Well, Magdalena, that was the first time we heard of her. Where did she come into this?
Well, Magdalena was also my grandfather. No, my grandfather's sister.
Grandfather's sister.
Grandfather. These were all my grandfather's sisters that I'm showing you now. And Etta looked very, very much like Magdalena. And that was a good German name at that time.
Who
And
was your grandmother's name on your father's side?
my grandmother, I never knew her maiden name.
I remember Magdalena was carried down from that baptismal certificate.
Yeah, but that was on my mother's. That was my mother's mother.
A different
That was
Magdalena.
another Magdalena. That was Magdalena, Maria Magdalena Rogerling. And that was on my mother's side. And these are also, these children are also Magdalena's children by a second marriage. And their name was Kovsky. And they were Frank Rain's half-brothers. When Aunt Miriam was nearing the end of her life, I asked her about this name Kovsky and how it related to the family. And I said it was I didn't remember the name. I said it was a Polish name, I thought. And she said, oh no, it wasn't Polish, it was Bohemian, and the name was Kovsky. So even though she couldn't remember what happened 5 minutes before, she remembered all these things for me. And then now these are my grandmother's Neubauer's sisters and herself. And here's a tin pipe, which is cracking off under this, and they all had noble names that were, the nicknames were all terrible. My grandmother was Susanna, and she was Susie, and her sister was Augusta, and she was Gussie, and here's Gussie's sister Gertrude, and she was Gertie. So, so they all had terrible names. And then here's John Gable, Augusta's husband, and their son Lawrence. And here's Lawrence with Harriet Gable, who was called Hattie. So they all had awful names. And then this is Frida Lawrence. This is my grandmother's sister, Frida Lawrence, and her husband, Charles Earhart, and they lived in Scranton, Pennsylvania. And Fred Earhart, their son, was a state representative in Harrisburg for many years. Then these are pictures of my mother when she was a baby, and today I got this out. This is what started all of this, was because I got this book out today because I kind of, that Margie looks so much like this picture of my mother at 6 months old. And the shape of the head is so similar to her. And this was my mother at 3 years old over here. But this one of my mother at 6 months, I think, looks a lot, the head shape is a lot like Marjorie's. And here's mother down here. And I always thought this one looked something like Charlotte. Charlotte, do you think?
Posture is
Yeah.
like,
Charlotte, do you think that looks like you? That picture?
Mm-hmm.
I think you look a lot like that.
Charlotte
Yeah.
stands like that.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that looks like you. So if you're take after my mother, she was a pretty lady. Well, let's see, how do I do this? How do I get this picture in?
Which one?
This one. There. There's my mother when she was 8 years old. There. That's better. And then these were my mother with her cousins. This is my mother here, and she was 7 at the time. And her cousins, who were Helen Marquardt, and let's see, and Walter Marquardt.
Helen looks a little bit like Aunt Marion in some of those pictures.
Yes, she does. And then this is these are my favorite pictures, I think. Well, now, Jonathan, how am I doing? I can't get there. If I'm there, there. Then this is one of my favorite pictures. It's of my grandmother, Susanna, and here's Aunt Marion, which I think is one of the cutest baby pictures ever. And my mother, who I always wished I could have seen her with her hair trimmed up a little. She was a very pretty, very serious-looking little girl. And then this is Uncle John when he was a baby. It was John Fisher Neibauer. And this is the cutest baby picture ever, I think. This one here of Uncle John and Etta. How do I get there? It is. And look at that look at the wings on his collar. He looks as if he's about to fly.
Well, what was the article on the previous page? The one back. You had an article there.
No.
There's a newspaper article. I don't know what that was. Right there.
Oh, that was an obituary of when Matilda died in Erie. And she was born in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it tells when she was married. And they changed their name from the German, which was Marquardt, to Marquette. And they moved to McPherson, Kansas, and it says here, after 4 years spent in Erie, they moved to McPherson, Kansas, where 4 more years were spent. And at the time of the opening of the Cheyenne and Arapaho countries, they located 1/2 mile west of Okarche, where they have since resided. She leaves to mourn, and so on. And they lived in Okarche, Oklahoma. So they were Sooners, and my mother remembered sitting on a fence in Kansas and watching the prairie schooners go by, and they called Oklahoma or bust after the people who were going to open up the Oklahoma Territory. And then this one here, Aunt Marion, when she was 12 years old, and that was when she earned the nickname of Mickey.
Looks like a real tomboy in that
She
one.
was a real tomboy. Her
She
hair
was a tomboy.
I think she had been very, very ill, and they cut her hair off. They used to do that when you had high fevers, and she had something with a high fever.
And I thought that was a good helpful
Yeah,
to cut their
and
hair, huh?
they cut all their hair off.
Nana was a tomboy.
And it was
wasn't she?
just growing
I wonder
in.
how that
No, not like Aunt Marion.
I wonder how that was supposed to help to cut
Yeah.
people's hair.
I don't know. Well, it cooled them off. Because they didn't have all that
I guess
hair
that's
around.
sense to that.
And here's my mother when she was 12. And I don't think she really changed in those times. She was 12 years old until she passed away. And this dress, she always told me, was garnet taffeta and garnet velvet, and it was made from one of her mother's dresses from her trousseau. And then this is my mother at
And then the birds flew away.
15. She was 15 and just learning to put up her hair here. And then on the others, she was 16. So girls grew up very rapidly in those days and looked, well, I guess no more so than these days. They look pretty grown up at 16 these days, too. So
Nana's eyebrows remind me.
those are your roots.
Nana's eyebrows remind me of Sasha.
These pictures were taken of my mother when she was 17, and I think they were taken just before she got married, the upper ones. This lower one was taken of her when she visited her cousins in Cincinnati, Ohio, and at that time she said she woke very early one morning and she knew that something was very, very wrong at home, and she had her trunk all packed, and it's the trunk that's up in the attic. She had that trunk all packed before anybody in the family was up, and she knew that there was something terribly wrong. And just before she went to take the train, a telegram saying that her father had drowned the night before. And he worked at the Edison plant in Chicago, and he had to walk across a narrow bridge, and they thought, maybe he had a heart attack or something on the way across the spread and falling off. And this one was, she had a bird in her head. If you can see this one.
See better.
And how can I get this one down here? I'm trying to get this one. All right, she had a bird on this hat, you can see. And she was on a streetcar one day, and in those days, you could take pets on the streetcar. And she was sitting on the streetcar one day, and there was this bulldog sitting right next to her, next to a lady. And the bulldog was watching her very, very closely. And all of a sudden, he made a dive for the bird on her hat. And this was a picture.
Did he get it?
And well, I guess he pulled her hat off. Now let's see.
Turn toward the camera. You hold it still.
Well, this is the only picture I have of my father. And this was taken about the time he was married. My mother was 17, and she thought she was marrying an old man, and he was 23. His name was Leon, and everybody called him Lee, and that's why my name is Lee.
Tell the story about that whenever I wanted the vaudeville plays, when the kids got up on stage.
Oh, yeah. My father was a great joker, and
Moving the book around.
well, he was a great prankster, and they had amateur nights in their local vaudeville house, and one night one of their friends was going to whistle, and he was a great whistler, and they used to have whistling acts. And so all these young fellows bought up the whole front row in the vaudeville show, and when their friend got on to whistle, they all started sucking a lemon. And then the fella would pucker up and he'd try to whistle, and nothing would come. So if you want to stop anybody from whistling, you suck on a lemon. And then another time on Ash Wednesday, they went into a Catholic church and they put ink in the holy water. So that when people, and the police were out for him on that one. So, anyway, this was, let's see. I am trying to get this one, the upper one. Okay. This upper picture, this is my mother and grandmother and Etta and Uncle John. And it was taken right after my grandfather's death, so they're looking very, very sad. And this one is Aunt Marion when she was about 16. And so girls in those days tried to look as grown up, I guess, as girls do now. And then this was taken in Cleveland while my mother was there just before she came home. And in that other one, that you saw, where she was in boys' clothes, she was wearing her cousin's clothing. And this was Aunt Marion at 15, so she looked pretty grown up too. And let's see, I'm trying to get the upper part, Jonathan. There, that's Aunt Marion and her first husband. And they were on their honeymoon at that time, I think. He was quite a bit older than she. She was 19. And this is Aunt Marion.
Let's look up a little bit more.
And she was a model when she was quite young.
She had a good voice, Tiffany.
Yes, she was a singer, but she took singing later on. And this is Aunt And I remember this dress, and she was very pretty in it. It was pink taffeta.
Late 20s?
No. This was, I'd say maybe 1918, 19, around there. And this was when she was modeling. I think that was one of the pictures of something that she was modeling. And here's a pretty pink dress again.
How old was she when she first got married?
19.
And she was in any sort of a job?
Hmm?
Did she have any sort of a job?
No.
At high school?
And she just, I think she had just been a model. And this is Fred Crow when he was young. And he was a very handsome man.
Where did she meet him?
She met him in California, and she was selling real estate. And he came up to see the piece of real estate, and they got acquainted that way.
She, I remember a story her telling about that she determined whether she liked the person or not by their table manners.
Well, she was very, very particular about things like that. And this was their wedding picture. They were married up in the mountains in California at a very beautiful lodge. And
what's that date? 1929?
Mm-hmm.
Were you there?
No, I was. We were in the east at that time. And that's Aunt Marion and Bud, Terry's brother. And this is Aunt Marion again down here. This is my mother's car in back of her. That was about 1930, I think.
Bring your book up just a bit.
And then this middle one, I was 11 years old, so this was in the 20s, and that was Betty Mayberry with me, and that was at Venice, I think, in California. And this is Aunt Marion, and very stylish 1930s type outfit, or late 20s.
Where's the Jones family coming?
Well, I'm not sure whether they're in this or not. And this was Aunt Marion when she graduated from the Cosmopolitan School of Music, and this was the dress she had for her graduation recital, which she gave.
Before you turn the page,
It was a beautiful blue. I took this picture to the nursing home before she passed away. I took it there so she could see it. And the nurses all came in to see, this picture. They couldn't believe that she'd ever had that much flesh on her.
Well, before you turn the page down here, I noticed if you move your book up, I'll move it up farther. There's a name here at the down here. You hold it still, and I'll try and focus there. His name Arch Jones.
Oh, well, yeah. His name was John Archer Jones. That's Buddy. That's Terry's brother. Okay. And this is okay. This was Etta when she graduated from school, and my dad, she was the youngest, and she lived with us from the time she was 10 years old. She lived with my dad and mother.
You said you thought I looked a lot like her.
Yeah, you have her coloring. She had light brown hair and hazel eyes, and my dad sent her all a dozen long stem American Beauty roses, which was the most you could get in those days. But she had long braid down her back, and you can see a hair ribbon on her hair. And this was her wedding picture when she married Arch. And you can see how much Terry looks like her father.
They lived in California.
Well, they lived in Chicago first. They were married in Chicago. Then they moved to Kansas for a while, and then they moved to California.
What did he do?
He sold real estate, and he was one of the world's best auto mechanics, but mostly he sold real estate.
When were they married?
Oh, I don't remember. In maybe 1923. And well, no, they married before that because Terry was born in 1920. She was born June 8th, 1920, and she was about 6 months old on that picture. And, yeah, 6 months old. And she was a cute baby, and this other one, she was about 2 years old. And Etta used to do her hair up in rags every night to get the curls. And that's Buddy, the bottom picture. That's Buddy when he was 6 months old. And he was a darling baby. He was a sweet boy. We don't know what happened to him. He just disappeared. And this is in his 30s. This is Aunt Kate as an old lady. That's Aunt Kate and my grandmother. You can see how much Aunt Marion looked like her.
You said she was a crotchety old lady.
Aunt Kate?
Yeah.
Oh, my grandmother, yes. They both were. Didn't think much. No. Let's see. There's a picture of Etta and Bud and Terry when she was Marithel. She was named for Marion and Ethel. And then this goes back again. These pictures. Let's see. That's Marion again. I guess it's the same picture as before, or very similar. And I'm trying to guess.
Out of this one.
Well, I've been coming out to you as much as I can.
Bring it up. Okay.
There she is.
Is that Mary?
Yeah, that was Aunt Marion.
Groundhog.
And this is Aunt Marion again in another pose, and that was again a graduation picture. And I think that's all. These others in the book are just friends of my mother's.
I see. So that's a mush.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, Margie Kate.
Okay.
Dad, get
There.
Take a look at that away from the
Okay. Now, he wants you to hold the picture up beside Margie.
Okay. Now how?
Why you're getting that? Is Charlotte Marie? What? That's inappropriate at the moment.
If you want to sit down here, you'll be in the picture too.
No. Not in the picture.
No?
Turn it over a minute. Hush, sweetheart. Dad, get her. I said no.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, we feel that looks a lot like Margie. Okay, 6 months. Now take a look at Margie over here.
At 3.5 months.
Can I catch you? Gotcha.
Pull back a little bit.
Try to get a front view of her so you see. It's the shape of the head. Chris, turn Marjorie.
Okay. Dad's gonna take a picture. Okay, here she is.
Margie, here.
There.
Get back so you get the full shape of her head, not just her. Margie. With the narrow front and to the wide back of the head.
Mm-hmm.
it pretty
So went
well.
through the years.
I never could do that. I wonder how many of our
And in the book,
ancestors
that
could
picture is
track
right
their
over top of the
fingers.
one that looks like Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey.
How many of our ancestors could snap their fingers?
Mm-hmm.
That can snap
Mother,
his
you were
fingers. I
going to tell
cannot
us
snap my
where the
fingers.
You
Neubauer
can.
family came
No.
from.
Is that genetic?
Probably.
Tongue curling is genetic.
Yes.
I can.
Right.
My brothers can. We're hybrid tongue curlers. But
How
my
can you
mother
turn your
cannot.
tongue?
We were in hysterics one night at dinner when I learned that in biology. Mother could not curl her tongue. So you can too.
Either cannot.
You mean
Mother is a
you can?
recessive tongue curler.
Not
Yeah,
every-
mother cannot. She could, takes her fingers. Cannot curl her tongue. That is a genetic characteristic. Isn't that a marvel?
Whoa, whoa.
We
See?
can all do it.
Yeah.
Aw.
You can't do it?
Calm down now.
You really can't? I'll be done. Charlotte, do this. We must be hybrids then, because there's a recessive gene showing up in my kid. You can't do it!
You know what? I've always
Did you get
snapped
him,
my
John?
fingers and I
No.
can't
Get
snap
John
them
trying to
now.
curl his...
I've always been able to snap my fingers and I can't do it now. I've always snapped them.
Oh
I
dear.
used to snap them real loud.
Well, you can't nurse on Uncle Chris, can you?
Maybe
grab
something
her for
happens
Uncle
to your
Chris.
bones when you get older.
Well, you got the wrong person there.
Bob?
Well, boo, baby. Sometimes you can be the
Bob?
Yes.
Here's a picture of my mother that looks a lot like Marjorie.
Yeah.
What are you getting?
You want to see your
Something
picture?
strange here.
Huh? You want to see your picture? Huh? Oh, poor baby. You've
You need to
been
pull back.
rousted about so much.
Move your zoomer.
Yeah. I haven't got what you want. Will you tell me? You just look at me.
Stop.
No.
Will you?
I tickle you?
Oh.
You hate to be tickled, right?
Now leave it about that.
Oh, poor
Where you tickle it? It's on your knee.
Mommy knows. Tell her. Ask her.
Any place.
Can you curl your tongue, Margie? Huh? Can you curl your tongue?
Oh, there we found a spot. There's a spot.
Oh, there's a darling picture.
Yeah.
Yes, darling.
John, get a picture of this shenanigan.
Did you throw up on me?
Get your dad.
What's going on?
Oh, well,
Well, Nathaniel,
gonna
let's
tickle
see how
Grampy.
tall you are. Why don't you and Christopher stand up and let's just see how tall you guys are, okay?
Stand up.
Christopher's 12 foot and Nat, Nat's 6.
Look, I'm taller than Uncle Chris.
Yeah. Don't hold your breath. He's about to grow.
There we go.
Alright.
Stand up all the way.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to disappear from the picture. if I do that.
Somebody disappeared in the film. Wonder who that was.
Get down way far.
Don't pull his pants.
No,
Come back into the picture again, farther.
Farther. Look how tall I am.
You get down, we'll get next to Grampy here.
Hmm.
Yeah, come on.
See, his little head's going to
Let
peek through
Grampy
if
get in
you
the picture, too.
Scooch.
Wait.
Oh.
Nat. Good thing you didn't hit the camera.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, who knows?
It's dark around my eyebrows.
Okay.